Scientology is probably the most successful new American religion of the last 100 years, and it is spread through every corner of the world. The 1950s were a time of enormous anxiety for Americans. We were talking about space travel and alien worlds. We were starting to get to know how the mind works for the very first time. All of these things fed into Hubbard's imagination as he began to create Scientology as a religious movement. Here are 3 things that Scientologists believe. Number 1, that we are all eternal souls trapped within bodies, and that we've had multiple bodies over many, many lifetimes. Number 2, in each of these lifetimes, we have gathered trauma, whether we're aware of it or not. And number 3, the way to get rid of these traumas, to clear yourself of them, is through the process called auditing, a kind of technological exposure therapy.
What is it that you have your attention on a lot?
Through a series of courses and auditings, you become more and more aware of your true nature. You have more and more control over yourself and your world until you reach a kind of godlike status. People who are familiar with Scientology are mostly familiar with the scandals, the control that the leaders of Scientology have over the lives of many of its members. Scientology is at a crossroads in its history. If the church can learn to give up some of that control, in 100 years from now, it might be one of the great religions of the world.
In a new study published in PLOS One, researchers are describing an unusual behavior spotted in humpback whales. On multiple occasions, they were found in large groups of 20 to 200, feeding intensively off the southwest coast of South Africa, thousands of kilometers further north from their typical feeding grounds in the polar waters. New Scientist further notes, humpbacks aren't normally considered to be terribly social. According to Gizmodo, there are plenty of theories surrounding the emergence of these groups. The researchers suggest there may be changes in the availability of prey, or maybe there are simply more whales. Researchers say these novel, predictable, interannual low-latitude feeding events provide considerable potential for further investigation of Southern Hemisphere humpback feeding behaviors in these relatively accessible low-latitude waters.
We were crunching on the shells. They were thick. They were probably about 20 centimetres thick. And then it was as far as the eye could see right down the north end, towards the north end of the beach. And so we were quite shocked and sad.
Back here at home tonight and to your money, some of the country's most familiar stores closing hundreds of locations and cutting thousands of jobs tonight. Take a look at the map. Sears shutting down 150 of their Sears and Kmart stores coast to coast, everywhere where there's a logo. And then we add on tonight where Macy's is shuttering dozens of their department stores. Tonight, ABC's Eva Pilgrim with the reasons why.
Tonight, massive cutbacks for 2 of America's iconic department stores. Sears, part of the American fabric for decades.
Sears, where America shops.
Those holiday wish books, a family favorite. Tonight, Sears closing 150 stores, 108 of them Kmart's. There will be layoffs, but the company not releasing those numbers. Sears also selling their Craftsman tool business for $900 million to help pay off mounting debt. Macy's getting hit too, shutting down 68 stores, 6,200 jobs gone.
We're definitely going to see more stores close. This is really just the beginning.
More trouble for Macy's and many other giant retailers. Macy's is closing 100 of its 650 stores, 15%. That is astonishing for this iconic retailer that used to be a mainstay in America's malls. America's malls are facing a lot of difficulties right now because the anchor tenants like Macy's are in trouble. Companies like JCPenney, Sears, Nordstrom. More than 40,000 retail sector jobs have already been lost year to date. That number likely to go higher as more traditional retailers shutter stores.
2016 proved to be one of the worst for shopping malls. Stores such as Aeropostale, Macy's, and Ralph Lauren either filed for bankruptcy or shuttered doors across the country. Now, teen realtor Wet Seal has revealed plans to shut down remaining U.S. stores. At its headquarters, the company had 148 employees and lists 171 locations across 42 states on its website.
In Peru, more than 65 people have been killed by a new round of severe flooding and mudslides. Rushing waters and mudslides caused by unusually high ocean temperatures left a path of destruction, leaving emergency crews scrambling to get civilians to safety. The conditions also toppled homes and swept away cars and trucks. There have been at least 62 weather-related deaths in the country since January. Peru is facing accusations that it was unprepared to deal with the floods. Its president says that no one could have predicted these kinds of conditions.
Controversy in Seminole County tonight, a debate at City Hall over a cross. An out-of-state group wants it taken down. Fox 35's Matt Trezza is in Longwood with this controversial debate.
This simple cross bears the inscription, "We will never forget their sacrifices." It originally looked like this, as part of a traveling Vietnam memorial. Some, like Longwood Mayor Joe Durso, see it as a way to honor veterans.
It's a historical honor that was bestowed upon those folks, and so we believe it has every right to be in City Hall.
But others, like Joseph Richardson with the Freedom from Religion Foundation, say it's a tribute to Christianity that has no place in a government building.
it gives the impression that the city is endorsing Christianity by having that cross there. They could just as easily have that saying printed on a silhouette of a soldier or something like that, and then that wouldn't endorse the Christianity.
After the memorial finished touring, the local artist donated it to the city. The mayor says that's where it'll stay.
We absolutely believe that the cross should stay at City Hall. It was really a generous donation from a veteran who lives in the city of Longwood.
The Freedom from Religion Foundation wants it gone. The Wisconsin-based group sent a letter to Longwood saying it's a government endorsement of Christianity and a blatant violation of the separation of church and state. Richardson says it's an American ideal that all veterans fought for.
Not all the veterans would agree with having it there. We have many veterans that are members of the Freedom from Religion Foundation.
The group wants the cross moved to private property. The mayor calls this a tempest in a teapot. In Longwood, Matt Trezza, Fox 35 News.
Next in with us, I'm Bill O'Reilly in the Unresolved Problem segment tonight. Insanity over illegal immigration, that is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. As we reported extensively last night, a 14-year-old girl in Rockville, Maryland was raped in a high school bathroom by two men allegedly in this country illegally. The incident is beyond shocking. An 18-year-old from Guatemala and a 17-year-old from El Salvador were freshmen at the school. Freshmen. Authorities say they dragged the 14-year-old into a bathroom, brutally raped her. Fox News covered the story extensively, as I said, last night. But ABC, NBC, CBS did not cover it on their nightly news broadcast, nor did they cover it this morning, and they have hours of airtime in the morning. CNN did not cover the Maryland story in prime time last night. Ditto MSNBC. That is beyond anything I have ever seen in my 40 years plus of journalism. A story of that magnitude ignored by the national media. We all know why. Illegal immigration is a political issue. President Trump has made the apprehension of undocumented criminals a top priority. The Democratic Party is resisting that, saying that all illegal aliens are being demonized, and that presents a danger to that community. Now, every fair-minded American knows the immigration system is broken, and Congress has refused to fix it. As I said last night, we don't know who's here, we don't know where they are, and we don't know what they're doing.
Well, Pizzagate. It became a major story weeks ago when an armed man decided to investigate a D.C. area pizza place for himself. This man right here, he carried a rifle into a pizza parlor and then fired it at the floor. Media is telling you the entire story is a hoax or fake news. But what does that even mean? I spent the last month investigating. So what exactly is Pizzagate? And are there any actual facts to support the story? Pizzagate actually comes from the WikiLeaks release of hacked emails from Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta. In all, WikiLeaks dumped around 50,000 email messages, and it was from those emails that the claims that John Podesta may be part of a child sex trafficking ring come from. Now, to be clear, not one single email in the Podesta emails discusses child sex trafficking or pedophilia. That is a fact. But there are dozens of what seem to be strangely worded emails dealing with pizza and handkerchiefs. Self-described online investigators say that those words in the emails about pizza and the talk of handkerchiefs is code language used by pedophiles. But Ping Pong Pizza Place is actually referenced in the Podesta emails at least a dozen or so times, and that the owner of that place, James Alefantis, is a friend of John Podesta. He was actually named, this is kind of strange, by GQ magazine as one of the top 50 most powerful people in Washington. Yes, we're talking about a pizza parlor owner. Now let's talk facts here. There is no solid evidence that Comet Ping Pong Pizza is being used to run a child sex trafficking ring. But there are some very strange connections between Comet Ping Pong Pizza and a second pizza place 2 doors over, Besta Pizza, and the accusations of pedophilia. Now this is where things start to get strange when you research this story. Now to begin, I need to show you a 2007 unclassified FBI document. That document, according to the FBI, contains commonly used symbols by pedophiles to express their preference in children. I want you to see these images here. These are the images. Notice this one on the end, the triangle. That image signifies something called boy love. The pizza place next door to Comet Ping Pong Pizza, Besta Pizza, well, this was their logo until only a few weeks ago. Clearly you can see that the Besta logo actually contains the same image, I'm going to show you again, as that boy lover image. Interestingly, after Pizzagate investigators pointed this out, Besta Pizza changed their logo, and there it is now. They removed the triangle. Also, Comet Ping Pong, owned by Alefantis, is the place where a number of performance artists perform regularly. 2 of the groups that perform there, who you can see advertised, by the way, on this Comet Ping Pong poster, include a group called Heavy Breathing and another group called Sex Stains. Well, if you check out the YouTube videos by these bands, Heavy Breathing has songs that do joke about pedophilia, and the band Sex Stains has a video that includes, and you see it right there, that same boy lover symbol. It's nearly identical to the one that the FBI does say is a pedophile code symbol for boy love. As I said, there are some strange things there. As for the owner of the pizza place, James Alefantis, well, he was one time in a relationship with David Brock, who ran Media Matters for America. Well, since Pizzagate began to blow up online, he has made his Instagram profile, Jimmy Comet, private. But an archive search of Instagram reveals a number of strange photographs and words with strange and disturbing images associated with them. Look, to the point where we can't show you those pictures.
I'm going to read to you from a statement that's also posted to Infowars.com that I wrote yesterday. Last fall, before the presidential election, a large number of media outlets began reporting on allegations arising from emails released by WikiLeaks that appeared to come from John Podesta, who served President Clinton and Obama and was the chairman of Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign. Dozens of those stories and articles raised or discussed theories that some of Podesta's emails contained code words for human trafficking and/or pedophilia. Stories also included allegations connecting members of the Democratic Party with a number of restaurants allegedly involved with a child sex ring. These stories were cited and discussed in social media and went viral on the internet. One of the persons mentioned in many of the stories in the media was a Washington, D.C. restaurant owner named James Alefantis and his pizza restaurant, Comet Ping Pong. It is fair to say that Mr. Alefantis is a prominent individual who has been mentioned as a power player in Washington. Mr. Alefantis and his restaurant were mentioned in many stories published by a lot of different outlets. Mr. Alefantis was quoted in many subsequent stories, and he denied any involvement in such reported child sex rings. These denials were reported in the national media and many other outlets and news websites. The volume of stories was substantial, generating national headlines and came to be known across the country as Pizzagate. We at InfoWars became part of that national discussion. We broadcast commentary about the allegations and the theory that the emails contained code words. We raised questions about information in Mr. Podesta's emails and in the Comic Ping Pong restaurant. We believed at the time that further investigation was necessary. In December of 2016, we disassociated ourselves from the Pizzagate claims and theories, a position we reiterated last month after being contacted by Mr. Alefantis. In late February of 2017, we received a letter from Mr. Alefantis asking that we retract certain statements that he says were made in 7 of our broadcasts between the last week of November and the first week of December in 2016. We have attempted through our lawyers to contact Mr. Alefantis to discuss with him what sort of statement he would like to see made. In our commentary about what had become known as Pizzagate, I made comments about Mr. Alefantis that in hindsight I regret and for which I apologize to him. We were participating in a discussion that was being written about by scores of media outlets in one of the most hotly contested and disputed political environments our country has ever seen. We relied on third-party accounts of alleged activities and conduct at the restaurant. We also relied on accounts of reporters who were no longer with us.
Beauty and the Beast director Bill Condon sparked a major conversation this week when he said Josh Gad's character LeFou has Disney's first, quote, exclusively gay moment in the film.
And they'll tell you whose team they prefer to be on.
E.T. caught up with both men at the movie's world premiere Thursday night to learn more.
It's sort of like a first gay moment, you know what I mean? Because he's fluid, you know? I mean, the thing is, obviously, LeFou in the original, it's like, why else does he hang out and, you know, this human punching bag for Gaston? He must be a little confused about his feelings, you know? But I don't want that to seem like a heavy-handed thing. It's just like this, you know, the movie is a celebration at the end of the day of love, you know?
When we made this film to dimensionalize all of these characters that were already iconic in the original, and, you know, there's a moment at the end of the movie that I think is open to interpretation that's very subtle, but I'm very proud of it. I think it's a really amazing moment in a Disney film, and I hope it speaks for itself, and I want the audience to be surprised by it, but I'm very excited. I'm excited about all of it, and I think that all of the characters, including Belle, have just come so much further than even the original, and it's pretty darn great.
The Trump administration is boycotting the United Nations Human Rights Council to protest the organization's treatment of Israel. The UN has taken a pretty hard stance against Israel's treatment of Palestinians, as well as its West Bank settlements, which are illegal under international law. But a boycott isn't unheard of. The U.S. didn't participate in the council debates under President George W. Bush, and it only participated during 6 of President Barack Obama's 8 years in office. And even then, the Obama administration didn't take part in debates about Israel's human rights record. The Trump administration says other countries that are HRC members also commit human rights violations but aren't targeted by the UN. The White House's latest budget proposal cuts U.S. funding to the agency significantly, but Congress has the final say on whether those cuts will happen. U.S. officials say the country will vote against any actions by the UN it sees as anti-Israel, and it will encourage allies to do the same.
وفي آخر الزمان حينما ينتصر المسلمون
على شرار الخلق على شياطين الإنس. يقول الحجر والشجر يا مسلم يا عبد الله، يا مسلم يا عبد الله، هذا يهودي خلفي، تعال فاقتله إلا الغرقد فإنه من شجر اليهود.
The value of tolerance and acceptance of other people, how important a value is that to you?
Number one, plus.
Tolerance an important value?
Yeah, absolutely. Tolerance, inclusiveness.
Really high. I mean, I don't know how to put words to it.
That's how important it is.
Yes.
I think it's probably the number one issue in the country today.
Tolerance and acceptance is so unbelievably important because we all have something to offer.
Respect. We all need it.
I am for love and helping our neighbors.
I believe we're all part of the whole and we're all part of the universe.
Oh, well, we love everybody.
About loving your neighbor and loving everybody, and then I think about my Nazi neighbors.
Are those Republicans assholes?
Oh, yeah.
A bunch of assholes, excuse my French. But I'm not a judgmental person. I don't judge.
I have been anti-Republican my entire life.
They're misogynistic, racist, homophobic.
You can keep putting words in my mouth, but yeah, all the above.
Is that true?
Yeah, all the above.
I don't want to put words in your mouth.
No, but you are. It's okay.
Okay.
They are my words.
I don't really want to be inflammatory. They're devious, racist,
so dumb,
sexist, evil. It's sick. Fascist.
Disgusting.
Absolutely.
Racism and hatred.
They don't care about human people. They don't care about human rights. They only care about greed and money.
What's wrong with socialism?
Nothing.
What's wrong with socialism?
Nothing.
What's wrong with socialism?
I don't have anything. I don't have any problems with it.
I don't think anything's wrong with socialism.
Capitalist countries have always been messing with its ideology and trying to delegitimize it.
I kind of like it. I think the American people like socialism.
I think socialism's great.
Do you feel socialism works?
No, porque eso no funciona, porque si funcionara no estamos como estamos ahorita, que estamos ahorita pasando hambre y necesidad, pues, ¿entiendes? Eso no funciona aquí, eso...
No, si esto funcionara de verdad, nosotros no estuviéramos en esto, pues, no estuviéramos haciendo cola, no estuviéramos matándonos por ahí, arriesgando nuestras vidas. En realidad no funciona, esto no sirve, como quien dice.
No, en realidad eso no funciona para nada aquí. Eso es un engaño, como quien dice, que ellos no hacen nada, no sirven para nada. Son como unos X más en la vida, no sirven.
Let me ask you this, what do you think of Americans who want to bring socialism, democratic socialism, into America?
Tienen que vivir lo que nosotros estamos viviendo para que ellos vean que no es nada bueno, para que vean que esto es lo que es una pesadilla para uno, terror. Yo le digo al estadounidense que no cometa esa locura porque eso es una mentira, pues nosotros nos mintieron, estamos pasando hambre, hay mucha delincuencia y bueno, que no cometan esa locura.
Lo que le diría es que intentaran vivir aquí, que ellos se vinieran para acá y que sintieran lo mismo que nosotros estamos sintiendo, para ver si dirían que aquí hay de todo, como ellos dicen. Los invitamos a que vengan y vivan aquí.
They are one of the most productive. Their people are the happiest. They have the least amount of crime, violence, and
socialist countries.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it in my eyes.
Are you cutting class to go to this protest?
Yes.
Which class?
I would have missed any class, but it happened to be lunch.
I'll go turn the fryers back on and throw some wings in for you.
Tell me what wingy. I was cutting my calculus class. I have a test.
So what happens when the teacher fails you?
I think that if he fails me, he's an ass.
I'm missing geometry and PE. You don't like gym?
Wouldn't kill you. We play some competitive sports.
Do your teachers know you're cutting?
Yes, many of them were just like, we understand a lot of you aren't going to be here tomorrow. Good for you.
What exactly are you ladies here to protest?
I would say I'm here to protest the ban on immigrants and refugees.
The travel ban. That's un-American.
What he's doing is just not right. and it's fascism, it's not democracy.
We're protesting against Trump. He wants to ban people from this country, and it's kind of sad when you don't like a person for what they look like.
What don't you like about Trump?
He's racist. He's against African Americans. He said that black people are ignorant.
He did?
Yeah.
When was that?
He said it. I could change what I said.
You were chanting that America was never great earlier. Do you believe that?
It's a chant. It rhymes. 5, 6, 7, 8. America was never great.
But you know America was pretty great when we defeated the Nazis.
This is not good here.
Which nations are on the temporary travel ban list?
Well, as of right now, I'm not completely sure about the actual countries.
Libya, Iraq, for sure, Afghanistan, Lebanon, many
This isn't turning out the way I wanted it to.
It's all the nations that he wants, just not in America. That's bad phrasing, and I'm on TV.
Boy, what a great show.
Why don't you want people extremely vetted before they come here from those countries?
Why should they be extremely vetted?
Because those are havens of terrorism.
America's a haven of terrorism.
If you think America's so bad, you should try Syria.
You can't even set foot in the parking lot.
The countries that he's blocked, they're not terrorist countries.
Iran's not a terrorist country?
No.
It's the #1 sponsor of terrorism in the world.
What you talking about, Willis?
Do you believe in borders?
If you're cool and all, you're coming in to help me, I'm cool with that, but you're not coming here to mess things up.
So don't you want to check to see if someone's cool before you let them in?
Well, of course, you always want to check. That's why we have our airports.
And that's why we want extreme vetting, right?
Of course.
So you do agree with the Trump ban? What does your sign say on the back?
On the back it says punch a Nazi.
Wait, I thought you don't believe in violence.
I do believe in violence, not gun violence.
So, just these things?
Yeah.
I've got Jack Johnson and Tom O'Leary waiting for you.
I'm an immigrant. I'm from South Africa. Do you think I need to be extremely vetted?
After some of the comments you made, yes.
I'm just being humorous.
I am coming quickly. Amen. Come, Lord Jesus. That means he can come back at any moment. He can come back right now.